What up, Doe? At one point, to have a new pack of squares on the block, your status was a little bit above homies standing next to you, at least within your immediate crew. For that moment, the pack is full. If you couldn't afford to buy a box of squares, you went to the Arab store and bought one square, a loose square. It was always Newport 100s, because 100s lasted longer, obviously. Especially important because we was drinking. Chain smokers, we smoked them back to back. We always chased that other smoke with the Newport smoke. Squares was like currency in a way, almost, or better yet, they was like a status symbol for our ignorant ass. Having a box of squares for us implied that you could afford that box of squares, some non-essential, and you provide squares for all your guys around you, or at least your immediate circle. Reynolds American. You smoke any of these? Let me guess which one. ReynoldsAmerican.com. Our operating companies offer a wide range of products to address the evolving preference of adult tobacco and nicotine consumers. Their main combustible brands are Newport, Natural American Spirit, Camel, Pall Mall, and Lucky Strike. Reynolds American Inc. is the U.S. parent company of, among others, R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company, Santa Fe Natural Tobacco Company, Inc., American Snuff Company, LLC, R.J. Reynolds Vapor Company, Maduro Brands, Inc., RAI Services Company, and Reynolds Marketing Services Company. This is from VRGA, R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company, R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company, cigarette ingredients. View ingredients by brand, Newport 100s. Tobacco, water, sugars, glycerol, propylene glycol, specially denatured alcohol number 4, menthol, cellulose fiber, diammonium phosphate, licorice, carob powder, natural and artificial flavors, potassium sorbate. TFL, tobacco-free life. What is in a cigarette? There are currently 599 known additives in cigarettes. The additive report was submitted to the United Legal Global Manufacturers of Cigarettes. The list of cigarette additives has been growing since there are over 600 cigarette ingredients on that list. The 5 major tobacco manufacturers which published a list of cigarette ingredients are Philip Morris Inc., Leggett Group Inc., Brown and Williamson, American Tobacco Company, J. Reynolds Tobacco Company. There are 600 ingredients that can be used in cigarettes, 69 of which are carcinogenic. All cigarette ingredients are FDA approved. They are tested by burning, and that particular method of their ingestion is still not regulated by the FDA. List of carcinogenic compounds in cigarette smoke. Acetaldehyde, used to produce acetic acid, and butadiene, both toxic substances in their own right. Acrylonitrile, used in manufacture of plastic, toxic in small doses. 4-aminobiphenyl, use prohibited in many countries in the world. Arsenic, potent poison, highly regulated use in all countries in the world. Benzene. Benzene is a toxin used as a pesticide. It's also used in gasoline and explosives manufacture. Beryllium, highly toxic substance that can cause a pulmonary condition called chronic berylliosis. Cadmium. Lethal dose for a rat is 25 milligrams M3. Cadmium is used to produce batteries. Ethylene oxide, known carcinogen that also causes acute poisoning in higher doses. Formaldehyde, also used for preserving dead tissue in embalming fluids. Furan, increases the risk of hepatocellular and bile duct tumors. Hydrazine, used in rocket fuel, fuel cells, and pesticides. Isoprene, used in production of rubber. Lead causes microcytic anemia and interferes with cognition. Polonium-210, highly toxic, radioactive isotope. O-toluidine, causes DNA damage which results in tumors. Radioactive, others highly poisonous. Every single one of those particles ends up in the lungs. What's in a cigarette? Major ingredients in a cigarette. 3 major ingredients of a cigarette are tar, nicotine, carbon monoxide. Acetic acid. Acetic acid can be found in household products such as cleaning wipes, disinfectants, and etc. Toluene, found in gasoline and used in the manufacturing of explosives. Naphthalene, a poisonous compound used in production of mothballs. Hydrogen cyanide, a poison that was used in prison executions. Acetonitol, a fragrance used in perfume industry. Methanol, an ingredient regularly found in antifreeze used in car industry. Methane, gas found in excrement. Urea, a compound found in sweat and urine. Law 360. Philip Morris wins $10.8 million from R.J. Reynolds in patent trial by Ryan Davis. Law 360, June 2022. An Eastern District of Virginia jury on Wednesday found that R.J. Reynolds infringed 2 Philip Morris patents on vaping technology, awarding $10.76 million in damages in a clash between the 2 tobacco giants. The trial is one part of a wide-ranging patent dispute between the two companies over what tobacco industry calls reduced risk alternatives to cigarettes. Reduced risk alternatives to cigarettes, which to me implies that the risk is well known. We're going to make something to reduce the risk, which means someone is complicit in the results or what comes from those risks. However, it's no one's fault but your own. The case in Virginia actually began in 2020 when R.J. Reynolds sued Philip Morris over patents for a different type of technology known as heat, not burn products. American Lung Association. What's in a cigarette? American Lung Association. There are approximately 600 ingredients in cigarettes. When burned, cigarettes create more than 7,000 chemicals. Many are toxic. Many of these chemicals also are found in consumer products, but these products have warning labels, such as rat poison packaging. There is no such warning for the toxins in tobacco smoke or on cigarette boxes or packs. Here are a few of the chemicals in tobacco smoke and other places they are found. Acetone, found in nail polish remover. Acetic acid, an ingredient in hair dye. Ammonia, a common household cleaner. Arsenic, used in rat poison. Benzene, found in rubber cement and gasoline. Butane, used in lighter fluid. Cadmium, active component in battery acid. Carbon monoxide, released in car exhaust fumes. Formaldehyde, embalming fluid. Hexamine, found in barbecue lighter fluid. Lead, used in batteries. Naphthalene, an ingredient in mothballs. Methanol, a main component in rocket fuel. Nicotine, used as an insecticide. Tar, material for paving roads. Toluene, used to manufacture paint. Memorandum to Foundation staff from Stacy Beck, December 10th, 2008. List of tobacco-related entities. Below is a list of tobacco companies that are either headquartered in the U.S. or conduct significant business here. U.S. tobacco companies: Alliance One, global independent leaf tobacco merchant, FY08 sales $2 billion. Altadis USA, cigar manufacturer. Key brands: Don Diego, El Producto, H. Upmann, Monte Cristo, subsidiary of Spanish company Altadis SA, which was acquired by the UK's Imperial Tobacco in February 2008. FY07 sales $37 million estimated. Altria Group Inc., parent company of Philip Morris, nation's largest tobacco company, and cigar maker John Middleton Inc. John Middleton of the famed Black and Mild Middletons. FY07 sales $73.8 billion. British American Tobacco, one of the world's largest tobacco companies. Key brands: Dunhill, Kent, Lucky Strike, Pall Mall. Owns a minority share of both Reynolds American and Kingmaker Marketing. FY06 sales $49.3 billion. Commonwealth Brands Inc., nation's fourth largest cigarette manufacturer. Key brands: USA Gold, Montclair, Malibu, Sonoma. FY07 sales $200 million. Conwood Companies, FYO sales $670 million. Daughters and Ryan Tobacco, DNR Tobacco. Farmers Tobacco of Cynthiana Inc., cigarette manufacturer. General Tobacco, Imperial Tobacco Group, One of the world's largest tobacco companies. Key brands: Davidoff, West, Guloisis, Blondes, Drum, Golden Virginia, Rizla. FY07 sales 25.2 billion. John Middleton Inc., manufacturer of machine-made large cigars and pipe tobacco. Key brand: Black and Mild. Subsidiary of Altria, acquired in December 2007 for $2.9 billion. Kingmaker Marketing, Cretech International, 2007 sales 73 million. Lance Limited, tobacco manufacturer and distributor, headquartered in Tucker, Georgia. Leggett Group LLC, nation's fifth largest cigarette manufacturer, headquartered in Research Triangle Park, North Carolina. FY07 sales 125 million. Lorillard Inc., nation's third largest tobacco company. Key brands: Newport, top selling menthol in U.S. for show. Kent Max Old Gold, headquartered in Greensboro, North Carolina. FY07 sales 864 million. Nat Sherman International, manufacturer and retailer of cigarettes and cigars. Key brands: Fantasia Cigarettes, Maduro, Metropolitan, and Gotham Cigars. Family owned and operated. Headquartered in Fort Lee, New Jersey. FY07 sales $67.8 million. Philip Morris USA, nation's largest tobacco company. Key brands: Marlboro, number one brand in U.S. Basic, Parliament, Virginia Slim, subsidiary of Altria, headquartered in Richmond, Virginia. Annual sales $18.1 billion. Annual sales $18.1 billion. And they didn't just start making money. They didn't just start selling a lot of cigarettes this year or whatever year this is. You can go back and see what year I was talking about, 2007, 2008, something like that. Philip Morris International, key brands: Marlboro, L&M, Chesterfield, Parliament, headquartered in New York, New York. 2006 revenue, $48.26 billion. Reynolds American Inc., parent company of R.J. Reynolds, nation's number two tobacco company, headquartered in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. FY07 sales $8.5 billion. R.J. Reynolds Global Products, headquartered in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company, nation's second largest tobacco company. Key brands: Camel, number three brand in the U.S., Salem, Cools, Pall Mall, Doral, Winston, subsidiary of Reynolds American. Swisher International Inc., manufacturer of cigars, cigarillos, and smokeless tobacco products. Key brands: Swishers, Swisher Sweets, Redwood, Kayak, Lancaster, Chattanooga Chew, headquartered in Darien, Connecticut. FY07 sales $89.8 million. This is from First Dibs. 19th century oakwood counter, top cigar store, Indian statue, Netherlands, $7,443.47 if you're interested in buying. The cigar store Indian originated as a tradition, not in the United States, but in Europe, where carved Virginie men, as Europeans called Native Americans, or called Americans properly, were used for advertising the sale of tobacco and American crop. The reason I say Americans properly and not Native Americans is because of this. I put money on the line that none of you have ever saw what has been termed a Native American who looked like this in this country. But in America, who looks like this? Who resembles this? Let's Let's just say Americans. And after that, let's shake it. Courier Journal. Antiques. Cigar store Indians can draw big prices. Terry and Kim Koval, 2014. One bidder paid $42,550 for a well-documented Indian maiden cigar store figure at a 2014 antiques auction. That Indian maiden image will follow. Jobs were scarce during the Depression, and the project gave jobs to artists who created watercolors of important American folk art. Important American folk art. The wooden Indian was the accepted sign in front of a tobacco shop by the 1840s, but it was almost gone by the 1900s. The term cigar store Indian today includes all the wooden or metal figures used as store signs in the past. They were used as store signs. They had that good. They had that business in their store. They wanted you to know they had the best American tobacco. They wanted you to know they had the best. So who they put out front? What was the signage like? Well, I'm going to show you after I finish with this. The term cigar store Indian today includes all the wooden or metal figures used as store signs in the past. Most of them did represent American Indians and were dressed in traditional feathers and robes. The Indian maiden cigar store Indian that they put out in front of their tobacco spot or on the counter in order to sell a tobacco. They could have still sold the tobacco, but they want you to know they got the best tobacco. And how would they show you that? Show you the people who cultivated the best tobacco crop, which was the Americans. Let's shake it. And by American, I mean you. This is from Invaluable, Lot 233, carved and painted cigar store Indian. 19th century carved wooden countertop figure of an American man with a spear, adorned in tobacco leaf headdress and coverings painted black and red. 19th century, meaning the 1800s. Meaning the 1800s. Which I believe Great Britain and the United States outlawed bringing slaves / workers, employees, laborers from Africa to America. It was outlawed around anywhere between 1805 and 1808 or 1810. And this cigar store Indian is from the 1800s. Okay. Estimated price $800 to $1,200 USD. Sold to somebody other than the family. Sold to someone other than the people who this statue represents. Nevertheless, we're looking at it today, which means it really didn't matter who it was sold to. We benefit from seeing it, learning about it, sharing it. Let's shake it. America's Aboriginals, American Indian art, German tobacco Indian depiction of an American. The Germans, how they depicted Americans. Did it say what year this was? No year. Let's not guess. We know what we know, and what we don't, we don't. American Indian history. This picture in Germany, this statue in Germany, the statue does not depict, the statue does depict an indigenous American. Let's see. An indigenous American. No convincing needed. The convincing game is over. It ran its course. America's Aboriginals, Indigenous North Americans, German tobacco Indian depiction of an American. The feather headdress, the feather waistband. Yep. Cigar store Indians. Cigar store Indians. The way they're painted, the way they have them dressed, they're fresh. Wooden cigar store Indians. Advertising and country store collectibles. Collectibles. Why don't you collect these collectibles? Me personally, I like the first generation Transformers. I have yet to collect any, but I have intentions to. But these, why don't we collect these? Because all we have to do is go to the cookout. All we have to do is go to the holiday dinner. And we got people who look like that all around us. Now, this is another depiction of an American. It's no secret. We see the feather waistband. We see the natural. It's undeniable. Look at the natural. But more importantly, from lighting squares on the stove from my mother to smoking them myself. Then I graduated to Black and Milds. Then to rolled cigars. Always seeming to be on the course to what was the purest form. To smoking tobacco leaves using a tobacco pipe. Now I understand why. Do the right thing.